12.
Introduction. The Industrial Revolution and its consequences have been a disaster for the human race. They have greatly increased the life expectancy of those of us who live in advanced countries, but they have destabilized society, have made life unfulfilling, have subjected human beings to indignities, have led to widespread psychological suffering, in the third world to physical suffering as well, and have inflicted severe damage on the natural world.
Do you deny, in the context of this interview, do you deny that you committed the crimes attributed to the Unabomber?
I can't comment on that.
In 1978 began a series of explosive packages being delivered to a variety of locations that continued sporadically for 18 years. Killing 3 people and injuring 23 other victims, from postal workers to various other victims for whom these nasty packages were intended. Harvard graduate, Master of Arts and PhD and all-round solo crazy person Ted Kaczinski was fairly unique in the annals of US domestic terrorism. He was quite smart.
Ted is your lawyer.
I'm sorry, could you refresh my memory? Where did you go to college again?
I went to Penn State.
I went to Harvard. So why don't you go watch a football game and let me be the lawyer here, okay?
Actually wrote a manifesto, not some scribbled 3-line note in crayon, but appeared to confuse his complex, vaguely Rousseauian and ultimately pointless lone campaign against the modern world with an actual practical goal.
Don't get much value out of friends. They don't know me as well as strangers. They get mixed up.
He was the Unabomber, and due to his reclusive existence making shoes out of bark and knitting wicker, whilst allowing himself one bit of technology, the radio, not so consistent now, are we? In order to follow the reactions of his callous and ludicrous one-man crusade against the world, he took a very long time to apprehend.
The Unabomber. He began his reign of terror almost 18 years ago. Tonight, this former Berkeley professor is being held. But are the professor and the Unabomber one and the same? Here's Nightline's Chris Bury.
The strange story of Theodore Kaczynski begins at this house, where he grew up in the Chicago suburb of...
When he was finally captured on April the 6th, 1996, he lived up to the gross caricature of a loopy-the-loop odd bloke, extolling the virtues of living without any technology, other than the radio, of course, and occasionally speaking to his brother on the phone.
He sort of dismissed the interconnectedness we have with other people. For him, personal autonomy was the ultimate goal.
Whilst living on a diet of wild berries and quite possibly a few suspicious fungi.
One side will make you grow taller, the other side will make you grow shorter.
One side of what? The other side of what?
Of the mushroom.
And I'm thinking, oh man, somebody came around the side of the building and shot me.
Wright later learned a homemade bomb sent about 200 shards of shrapnel through his body.
For his victims, it was no mere curio of modern society coming into conflict with someone who clearly would have benefited from some counseling.
I remember Ted commenting to me that, in general, really smart people tend to have a sadistic streak. And I'm thinking, what? Why should intelligence be, sort of coincide with cruelty?
But there's no getting away from the fact that his manifesto was a genuinely impressive, very well researched, though certainly not concise evaluation of the world from someone who had more than just a grasp of politics, history, mathematics, physics, and many other scientific disciplines.
The City Falls of Greenbow, Alabama decided to get together and offered me a fine job. So
Is this the reason I ask myself sometimes so many beloved characters in Hollywood films are pretty dumb, and all the evil protagonists are very smart?
The common thread in all of my failed schemes is human stupidity.
Clearly people in La La Land had not foreseen the rise of George W. Bush or the current Trump cabinet, who are both evil and stupid.
I said, well, let's see how we say that. I said,
Kaczynski's antics are so uniquely linked to his idiosyncratic personality, he's become something of a peculiar footnote.
And now, a page from our Sunday morning almanac. April 3rd, 1996, 20 years ago today. The day the FBI arrested Theodore...
And not even the fevered conspiracy theorists or MAGA twats have really claimed him for their own cause, which is odd in a way, as he was the very embodiment of corporeal efforts to express individual dissatisfaction with a world he couldn't control.
Yes, because they're all a part of the Nazi world order. That's what I'm telling you.
Like, I could go down that rabbit hole all day, but I believe in some things. So JFK Jr. is still alive. What? And he's disguised in the background. So this guy is always behind Trump at the rallies. I'm going to look out for him today, by the way.
I will fuck this country up beyond repair. I'm a sick, angry little man.
But perhaps his rejection of all things material, except the odd mixture of explosive substances, made him a little too alien for anyone to really relate to.
You have 10 minutes, Ted.
Fellas, thanks again for letting me come to this. A class reunion doesn't happen very often. And I tell you, it feels like I never left.
Oh my God, don't tell me. Don't tell me.
No peeking.
Ted Kaczinski. Where did they find
Jimmy?
He of course gained very little for his work, industrial society and its future being recognised as an impressive dissertation. It was, in fact, fragments of this explanation of his seemingly random attacks published in 1995 in the Washington Post that led to his capture. His brother David recognizing his prose style.
Ultimately, Linda had this inspiration. She said, look, there are people who can analyze language. We're amateurs, but maybe we could find some professional who could look at the manifesto, look at some of Ted's letters on the topic of technology, and give us an idea what the possibilities are. I began to think at this point things could really spin out of control, especially since he had forbid me to visit him.
His sense of rivalry with Big Brother, his attempt to equal Big Brother and to win Big Brother's approval with very limited success, I think all this was very hard on him. I think that his self-esteem would have been in much better shape if he hadn't had me to compete with or compare himself with.
It wouldn't have been right to allow him to hurt anyone else. He had to be stopped in some way, and that was the only way I could think to stop him.
If the roles had been reversed, if you had suspected David of being the Unabomber, right? After all the years that you haven't been communicating very regularly, what would you have done?
I would have kept it to myself.
I guess for Kaczynski, if only his brother had been a Washington Times reader instead.
Today's plea bargain came after weeks of on-again, off-again negotiations between Theodore Kaczynski, his attorneys, and prosecutors. Just yesterday, a defense attorney said he was pessimistic about a deal, but today, everything fell into place. Prosecutor Robert Cleary.
The Unabomber's career is over.
Kaczynski was sentenced to 3 life sentences without possibility of parole. And he did actually manage to make some friends in there, including the Omaha bomber. So judge the people that you hang out with, I guess.
Am I pure evil? Am I the face of terror sitting here in front of you? Or am I able to talk to you man to man?
And this, they call it celebrity role. I mean, these people are not what you would think of as criminal types.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't seem to be very angry people. They're considerate of others. Some of them are quite intelligent.
I spoke to the owner of the Montanan restaurant here in Lincoln, and she said that Ted Kaczinski brought nothing but unwanted media attention and tourist attention, and she is happy that that chapter of Lincoln's history is now coming to a close.
He died in 2023.
Wright says he even forgave Ted, facing him in Sacramento, where he pled guilty and was sentenced to life in prison without parole. While serving that time in North Carolina, the Associated Press reports Kaczynski died by suicide Saturday morning at 81 years old.
It's hard to assert what wider impact his particular brand of direct action actually had.
Hey, Eddie, what are you up to nowadays?
Well, Ted, I'm an industrialist.
No way, I'm an industrialist too.
Oh, me too. I chop down trees and build computers. What about you?
I work for a company that dumps ink into the ocean.
Oh, that's fabulous. That's
great.
just great. You know, guys, we just got to keep in touch. Hey, make sure you give me all your addresses before we leave, okay?
Even by 1978, his malevolent version of the good life appeared vaguely comical and out of step with the latter part of the 20th century, except to the unfortunate victims of his pretty maniacal, idiosyncratic protest. But who knows whether his dissertation seems to have more relevance in this world where AI is being increasingly pushed for financial benefit and with very little consideration of the serious implications with regards to human rights and law are concerned.
You're probably wondering about the coat hangers. They're to block the satellite that's been spying on me. Major League Baseball? I told you they were monitoring my activities.
He's right. This thing's got info on everybody.
Oh, this life, it knows no strife.